Hey yo, I shut that NBA All-Star game off before they announced MVP who won it.
Petty alert, petty alert, petty alert.
Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so that you can get paid to podcast. I use Anchor to distribute this very episode and so that all the amazing listeners on the number one podcast in your headphones can enjoy Prem Brulee on whatever platform they prefer. I love how easy Anchor makes it to edit and post episodes. So, if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. Welcome back to another edition of Prem Brulee. It's your boy Premal bot of the newly minted The Play Call Network. And you know how we get things started? Yeah, fam or nah? Headlines in the sports world of the week. And first up, we have the NBA All-Star Game. Yeah, fam or not to the NBA All-Star Game. I am a yeah fam. The NBA knows how to do an All-Star weekend better than any other sport. There's no denying it. Their Saturday night is incredible. Their All-Star Game is an incredible showcase of talent. You have the first portion of the game being just for the fans showing off, and then without a doubt, players always start trying towards the end because they want to win that game. And they've added elements of higher donations for charities for the winning team. Love that. The draft by team captains is a home run. LeBron's now 2-0, by the way, in case you were wondering. His team came back against Team Giannis after being down 20-something points. They ended up winning by 14, I think it was, 178-164. And All-Star Saturday, I think, is unmatched. Yes, the dunk contest is starting to get a little too gimmicky, but more than anything, I feel that's a result of so many dunks already being done, and just the sheer creativity is so tough to think up new dunks that haven't already been accomplished. So not as much of a critic with that. The three-point shootout, Joe Harris with the upset. He almost wasn't invited for the three-point shootout. Ended up being Steph Curry, which is pretty crazy. The aforementioned dunk contest was won by Oklahoma City Thunder's Hamidou Diallo, who definitely had the dunk of the night over Shaq, putting his elbow in the rim. A nice little twist on the famous Vince Carter dunk. And Jason Tatum won the skill challenge in dramatic fashion, throwing up a half-court shot to win it, and then went on in his interview after and guaranteed a title for the Celtics. So you just had it all in the All-Star weekend, and didn't even mention the celebrity game, which is still a lot of fun, cool to watch. So NBA knows how to do All-Star Weekend. I'm a yeah fan of this. If you think another sport's All-Star is any better. Okay, let's move on to Major League Baseball. And the news of the week in pro baseball, beyond spring training starting up here, is Manny Machado signing the richest deal in sports history, choosing the San Diego Padres on a whopping $300 million over 10 years.
Wow.
Manny, your boy could use some help with some student loans if you're trying to hook me up. I'm just saying. Anyway, yeah, fam or not, this kind of deal is good for baseball. I'm a not.
Wow.
Let me preface this by saying I am definitely pro players getting their money. If you're really good at a sport, get your money. Machado should not be faulted for getting this kind of deal, and if the Padres are willing to give it, hell yeah, you sign on that dotted line. But there's no doubt in my mind Major League Baseball is heading for a strike in 3 years. And that's besides Machado. First of all, let's break it down. Manny Machado just signed. And players, pitchers, and catchers have reported spring training starting up. In any other sport, that's pretty much unheard of. A star player like that signing as camp starts. A star free agent. You still have big names like Bryce Harper unsigned, Craig Kimbrell, and Dallas Keuchel. Teams seem to be cutting costs. Attendance is down, but revenues are up, so owners just don't give a fuck. It seems that this is heading towards a non-players first, so an owner-friendly league, which usually means upset players. You even had someone as quiet as Mike Trout speaking out that it was kind of ridiculous that it took this long for Machado to sign and that Bryce Harper is still unsigned. And let's take into account that Manny Machado has just signed a deal that will basically be almost impossible to live up to. And it'll continue to lead teams down this path where they don't want to pay players. It's unfortunate because it's great for the guy. He got his money. But if we look at past deals like Albert Pujols or Robinson Cano, it is impossible for them to live up to either the duration of their deal or the value that they're being paid annually. So now we're heading towards teams not paying these players instead, just like it was trending before this Machado signing, taking forever for a team to finally claim him or choose to get him off the market. So I think this whole concept is doomed, and teams with low payrolls have proven they can win, like the Kansas City Royals won a World Series a few years ago. The Dodgers cut payroll from last year to this past season and still made the World Series. All these seem to be heading towards conflict between players and owners alike, and we'll stay tuned for that, but it is not a good sign for baseball. I'm a nod of this situation in general. I'm a yeah fan to Machado getting his dough, because who wouldn't want that? And those of you hating on Manny Machado for signing, I assume most of you are probably, I don't know, maybe Yankees fans or Giants fans or whatever. But have you been to San Diego? You mean to tell me someone paying you $30 million a year to play baseball and live in San Diego doesn't sound appealing to you? I'd probably go visit if I were you. All right, let's move on to the National Football League. Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reid have settled their grievance, their collusion case with the NFL. The resolution is subject to a confidentiality agreement. Okay, yeah fam to those two getting paid. It's an absolute abomination that Cap is not employed in the NFL. I mean, have you seen most of your team's backup quarterbacks? My favorite team's like Dallas Cowboys, and their current backup quarterback is Cooper Rush. We're talking about I guess we shouldn't be surprised. We're talking about a league that instead chooses to employ Nathan Peterman and Mark Sanchez this past year. So, yeah, why should we expect Colin Kaepernick, who's reached the Super Bowl before, to be in the league, right? But one part of this I am a nod to, this non-disclosure. I want to know what efforts the NFL would be making to make this right. And I want to know what kind of agreement they came to that assists in the issues that Kaepernick and Reid first kneeled for. If this is a resolution that all parties agreed on, there has to be something that they met halfway on or something along those lines. So I want to know what it is, and unfortunately we're not going to, which sucks.
Petty alert, petty alert, petty alert.
But for that reason, I'm a nah, but I am a yeah fam to this coming to a resolution and it being a payday for Kaepernick and Reid. It is worth noting that Eric Reid did sign a 3-year deal with the Carolina Panthers, who he was part of the team for part of the season, so good for him. Hopefully the Panthers maybe also sign Cap as a backup to Cam Newton. We'll see. All right, now it's time for likey, no likey, hate it. My first likey goes to the Canadian Football League's Toronto Argonauts signing the greatest defensive tackle in history as far as I'm concerned. Defensive tackle, Poop Johnson. My guy, Poop.
Wow.
Heard he plays a 2 technique.
Wow.
Heard he can stop the runs real well.
Wow.
All right, that's all. All right, my no likey goes to finishing The Sopranos. I mentioned last episode that I was winding down that series, the legendary series that I was, yes, very late to, but I have completed the series, and honestly, I feel bummed it's over. Those of you number one podcast listeners that have watched this legendary show, bring me your thoughts. I need to talk stuff out with you because I feel a sense of mini loss for this show being gone, and me not having a go-to show for this moment in time. Okay, anyway, back to sports. I got a couple hate its before I get to you played yourself. The first hate it goes to Case Keenum's luck. Shout out my family, go Cougs. Case Keenum, legendary Cougs quarterback. But Case Keenum, the previous season, took the Minnesota Vikings to the NFC Championship. Then the Vikings decided to move on, signing Kirk Cousins to a all-guaranteed contract, which resulted in them missing the playoffs. So Keenum signs with Denver. All's great, you know. Well, Denver just traded for another quarterback. They won Mr. Joe Flacco from the Baltimore Ravens just one season after they signed Case Keenum. Sick. Case Keenum, probably. The Broncos, in their impeccable history of quarterbacks of recent, decided to unload a fourth-round pick to the Ravens in exchange for former Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco. Don't get me started on the fact that he's a Super Bowl MVP.
Petty alert, petty alert, petty alert.
Yeah, it makes you feel really bad for the teams you root for unless you're a New England Tom Brady fan. So, Joe Flacco is 34. He has no more guaranteed money on his contract, worth noting, but his contract carries base salaries of $18.5 million coming up this season.
Wow.
$20.25 million in 2020.
Wow.
And $24.25 million in 2021.
Wow.
If the Broncos decide to stick with him. Case Keenum is due $18 million in 2019 with $7 million guaranteed. But if they do end up cutting Keenum, they will carry $10 million in dead cap money for doing so. I hate it. Case Keenum's got a raw deal. Yes, he's getting paid millions of dollars, but to sign a dude to a 2-year deal and then just give up on him a year later is kind of crazy to me. And then the move before that for a team like the Vikings to get rid of him after they just went to an NFC Championship is beyond me. But some people just have that journeyman attached to them, and I guess Keenum's going to be one of those. My final hate it goes to the Ohio State Buckeyes hoops team. The men's basketball team is just a mess right now. So, Ohio State owned a 6-point lead at halftime in East Lansing versus the Michigan State Spartans, but managed to muster up a whopping 13 fucking points in the second half, losing to Michigan State 62-44. The Buckeyes let Sparty have a 20-2 run to end the game. How? A team full of D1 athletes scoring less than 1 point per minute and a half? Are you fucking kidding me? These guys go to one of the biggest schools in the country and they muster 13 points? What the fuck is going on at halftime? The only explanation is that the Monstars are coming and stealing their talent. Because game after game, they fucking shit the bed in the second half. And I don't know how it happens other than mental weakness. If you have the talent and prove it in the first half, how then do you totally fucking suck coming out of halftime? The Bucks are right now slated in the 9, 10, 11 seed region. If they keep this shit up, we're NIT bound. Again, a year after having such a promising season, they come back with this shit. A half season removed from such a incredible start, rising up the rankings in the teens, and then all of a sudden, we come back down to this shit pile earth of sucking. Oh, and please let me see someone from the Buckeye basketball team complain about fans calling them out. Please let there be a don't come cheering when we turn it around type shit. I'm waiting and ready for it. Because don't get me started on that shit. You act like fans can't be disappointed in a product that they support day in and day out. Yes, we can critique a shit product last I checked. If we're going to spend hours of our day watching a shit product and you expect us not to complain, you can't have it both ways. Anyway, this is even you played yourself and I'm getting wound up. Let's, on that note, go to you played yourself. All right? This is my favorite segment. This is things that shouldn't have happened, but did, and deserve to be called out. The first you played yourself goes to the Iowa Hawkeyes basketball team. So Iowa won on a buzzer beater against Rutgers on a side angle three-pointer. But the side angle three-pointer went off the glass. You can't count that Bush League bullshit. Sound that alert. You know what I want to hear.
Petty alert, petty alert, petty alert.
This win goes to Rutgers, man. I don't care what you say. My next "you played yourself" is a painful one. It goes to my man LeBron James. I didn't think this day would come, but I realized something from witnessing All-Star Weekend and, getting the usual comparisons, dunk contests, what have you. But seeing each dunk contest reminds me that of the one critique I have for LeBron James, and it's that he never competed in the dunk contest. I don't want to see comparisons of him and legendary dunkers, because any other dunker he's compared to competed in the slam dunk contest. I mean, you have people like the Greek Freak and Donovan Mitchell volunteering to maybe compete next year, and we couldn't get LeBron in one single slam dunk contest when he was young, in the middle of his career, nothing. And then we have social media pictures comparing who would win in a dunk contest. We don't fucking know. We've only seen in-game dunks by LeBron. The one critique I have of the GOAT, LeBron James, is that he never competed in a dunk contest. And therefore, if you're comparing your dunk contest and who would win in one, I don't think you can crown LeBron a winner on a hypothetical contest, because I think the main criteria should be that you've competed in one. Alright?
Petty alert, petty alert, petty alert.
Okay, so last week I called out Stephen A. Smith at ESPN. This week it is Skip Bayless's turn from Fox Sports 1. Fox Sports 1's Undisputed. He and Shannon Sharpe were talking about the best players in NBA history born outside of the United States. This man, Skip Bayless, on live TV said Manu Ginobili was better than Hakeem Olajuwon. Are y'all fucking kidding me here? This guy gets paid to spew garbage out of his mouth like that? So Shannon Sharpe was describing Dirk Nowitzki. They're reminiscing over the All-Star Weekend and the awesome job they did honoring Dirk and Dwayne Wade. Impeccable job. We already talked about that in a previous episode. Love the fact they included him. Anyway, Shannon Sharpe brought up that Dirk Nowitzki was the second best player born outside the United States behind the Dream. Y'all anti-LeBron folk must hate to see that your public mouthhole representing LeBron haters just took yet another dive in his credibility. Y'all must hate that. Because this dude is losing it by the minute. I think he's just looking for viral shit because, god damn it, Ginobili? Are you fucking kidding me? Better than Hakeem Olajuwon? Fuck out of here, man. If you suggest that, even as a Spurs fan, I think your NBA fan card should be taken away. Because there's not an ounce, there is not an ounce of basketball knowledge in you if you think Manu Ginobili even compares to Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. Get the fuck out of here. Next you played yourself has to do with the Antonio Brown saga. And I'm not calling out who you think. This one does not go to AB. This one goes to Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. So Antonio Brown did a Twitter Q&A many believe did more harm than good. And he followed that up with a live video on Instagram. While it doing more harm than good might be true, we're talking about a league that, again, doesn't employ Colin Kaepernick, but does give additional chances to Nathan Peterman and Mark Sanchez. Let me just reiterate that, first of all.
Petty alert, petty alert, petty alert.
But amidst his Twitter Q&A, Brown indicated that Big Ben has a, quote, owner mentality. So his tweet, at AB84, you can scroll down and find it. His tweet was in response to someone asking what the problem was with him and Big Ben. He answered in his tweet, quote, no conflict, just a matter of respect, mutual respect. He, Roethlisberger, has an owner mentality, like he can call out anybody, including coaches. Players know, but they can't say anything about it, otherwise they meal ticket gone. It's a dirty game within a game, hashtag truth, end quote. So, Ben Roethlisberger has a history of calling out Antonio Brown, And Antonio Brown took it like a true teammate, said that's his right to call us out. Big Ben has a history of calling out coaches. Ask Todd Haley. Sure, Todd Haley might not have the greatest rep after the little shitstorm caused in Cleveland this past year with he and Hugh Jackson. But nevertheless, we have a quarterback here in Big Ben Roethlisberger who thinks it's okay to call out his teammates publicly instead of behind closed doors and doesn't suffer the consequences of it. Yet, we are quick to label a wide receiver with diva mentality. Sure, he might have earned it. I get all that. The position might have earned it over time. But you don't see other star quarterbacks doing this, do you? Tom Brady doesn't call out his receivers. I'm sure he does in private, but not to the press. You see Aaron Rodgers doing it, Drew Brees doing it. No, you don't fucking see it because as a quarterback, a leader of your team, leader of men in the locker room, you don't fucking embarrass your guy. And this rift has to have a huge impact on why Antonio Brown is now moving on from the Steelers. Because a quick update for you, Antonio Brown met with Steelers president Art Rooney II, and both parties decided it was time to move on. So you're looking at a dude in the prime of his career, no reason to move on. He's still under contract with the Steelers, now having to move on because of rift in the locker room or whatever happened. But what I do know is this is not nothing. This had to weigh on Antonio Brown, and he didn't bring it up until now, but you know that shit was eating at him. And meanwhile, Ben Roethlisberger just skates by. Nobody calls him out. This dude just gets to do what he wants. And yet, here we are, ripping on Antonio Brown. Yes, I agree, he might have deserved it, but where's the critique of the other players responsible? There has to be some level of Antonio Brown being a scapegoat or having felt like it in the Steelers locker room. I am not dismissing his part in it, but where's the accountability all around? We're quick to judge Antonio Brown, but these issues didn't just appear out of thin air. Let's not get it twisted. Okay, last but not least, the final You Played Yourself goes to Scottie Pippen, legendary basketball player, who, on ESPN's First Take, spewed the following garbage.
LeBron, he's not what Michael was as a player. He's not even what Kobe Bryant was as a player. So, when you talk about trying to compare Michael's instinct, his ability to take over games, his ability to want to have that last shot.
And demoralize you.
Yes.
And scare the living hell out of you.
LeBron doesn't have that gene.
Okay, Scotty, let's break this shit down. This was from @RT Sports Talk. Thank you for these statistics. Here are statistics for game-tying/go-ahead field goals with under 10 seconds left in the postseason. Since you want to talk about clutch genes over here. Your boy Michael Jordan, 7 of 15, 47%. Since you said LeBron's not even at Kobe range, Kobe was 5 for 22, 23%. LeBron James, 12 of 23, 52 fucking percent.
Petty alert, petty alert, petty alert.
Yeah, he's not quite there, Scotty. Better luck next time. Get the fuck out of here. I was just critiquing. Imagine if I were a true basketball fan go ahead and thinking the shit thoughts that I was comparing even LeBron to Kobe Bryant. The disrespect. And now Scotty wants to go there. Let's take a look back in history on Scottie Pippen and his wishy-washiness. This from J.E. Skeets. In May of 2017, LeBron hasn't surpassed Kobe. In December of 2017, LeBron's probably ahead of MJ. A week later, from December 2017, LeBron needs 6 rings. Another week later, MJ over LeBron. In May 2018, Scotty said it was unfair to compare LeBron and MJ. And now, in February of 2019, LeBron's not what MJ was as a player or even Kobe. Make up your fucking mind. And first of all, let's change up your incorrect mind. I just gave you statistics of why you're wrong. Saying LeBron's not even the class of Kobe is just a shit take. Pure shit. You played yourself, Scottie. You fucking played yourself. Alright, on that note, let's move on to who you got and what you feeling. A little recap of last episode's picks. I talked about the bigger trade impact in the Eastern Conference of the NBA because we had a lot of deals go down. Specifically, I weighed the difference in impact between Marc Gasol heading to the Toronto Raptors or Tobias Harris heading to the 76ers. The jury's still out, of course. I went with the Sixers and Tobias Harris adding much-needed scoring and shooting to their lineup. So after the All-Star break, we'll see how this one pans out. The aforementioned Antonio Brown, of course, formally requested a trade, and now, like we updated you on, is the Steelers are now on the same page of that boat. Where does he go next? Antonio Brown wants more guaranteed money. He did say that in his live Instagram, and would like someone with a good locker room, that sort of thing. He wants to win now. I picked the low-hanging fruit in San Francisco, but we should find out soon what teams are still sticking around after his social media antics, if that really did make a difference or not, but we'll keep an eye on that. And I went over the top quarterback that will be taken in the NFL draft, since Kyler Murray announced he was picking the NFL over the MLB.
Petty alert, petty alert, petty alert.
And you already know who I'm going with, Dwayne Haskins. Don't ever play yourself if you think it's Kyler Murray. Okay, this week I have a few long-term ones again. First one's a little hypothetical because I got thinking about the dunk contest and those social media visuals that I ranted about earlier and that shouldn't include LeBron. I wanted to give you my picks for my all-time dunk contest, who I would want in their primes of dunking, what for competitors I would want to see in a dunk contest. And my picks are as followed. I'd love to hear yours. Love for you to give me your thoughts on who you'd want in an all-time dunk contest. My picks were Vince Carter, my guy, my GOAT, Vinsanity, Dominique Wilkins, Michael Jordan, and even though I said he shouldn't be compared in existing dunkers, I went with LeBron James because in my hypothetical dunk contest, I'd want to see him finally compete in one. So I'm putting him in a dunk contest finally.
Petty alert, petty alert, petty alert.
We went over Case Keenum's bad luck in response to the Broncos trading for Joe Flacco. My next pick for who you got is out of the veteran quarterbacks on the quarterback carousel coming up, who is most intriguing? So, some of the big names expected to switch teams. Nick Foles, Super Bowl champion. Miami Dolphins quarterback Ryan Tannehill. Tyrod Taylor. And the Jaguars' Blake Bortles. It's worth noting the Jags, Washington, and Dolphins are among the teams expected to add new quarterbacks. So for who is most intriguing, I think this is a trick question. Even if we include Flacco, none of these names intrigue me. I like the angle of Tyrod Taylor because I think he's a pro's pro and he could be a really good backup, but I'd rather draft a rookie, honestly. You know how I feel about my boy Dwayne Haskins, so if I had the opportunity, those are my picks. A team like the Jaguars that's in win-now mode, I would draft a quarterback and maybe get one of these veterans to help, but I would not be scared to start a rookie quarterback, that's for damn sure. In last episode, I went over the Alliance of American Football starting the AAF. They are now through their second week of play, and I wanted to kind of do a long-term prediction, an either, neither, or both for which will last. The AAF and the XFL, which is slated to come back next year in 2020. So I don't know where I stand with this. I would love to see any forms of football make money if there's an avenue to watch it, but I have to say I think only one of these is going to survive, and I could see it being the AAF getting a head start, but we'll see what kind of product the XFL comes out. I can't see both of these surviving. As a secondary football league, there's just no way viewers can sustain that. So I'm going with either out of these. I like to be positive and not say neither, and both might be definitely be a stretch for me. So I'm going with either. I think one of them survives. If I have to put my money, I'm going with AF. As for what I'm feeling, I'm definitely feeling Drake's 10th anniversary of his legendary mixtape So Far Gone. He recently released it on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, the whole nine. This dude's going to manage to go platinum on a project that's as old as a fifth grader.
Wow.
The one thing I do hope is that I hope it starts to trend with artists like J. Cole and Kid Cudi who have legendary former mixtapes I'd love to see on those platforms, and I'd love to see them make a little extra dough and give us a few great listens and maybe educate people on some old but fire music. And of course, to wrap up the episode, my too much sense, my advice you didn't think you needed. And this week, it's about the word sorry. Some people use the word sorry too easily. Others don't use it at all. Be aware of meaning it when you do say it if you're on the too easy end of the spectrum. If you're on the never say it end of the spectrum, keep in mind that it's important to admit your faults. Saying sorry is a true way to move on from a situation and bring resolution. I found that the people who struggle saying it try to let a return to normal behavior serve as their apology instead of flat out addressing the situation. Just because you might be over it, the other person might not. And all you're accomplishing is sweeping a situation under the rug, which is undoubtedly going to come up again. So, this week is about sorry. Hope you dug it. And that wraps up another edition of Prem Brulee, the number one podcast in your headphones. Don't ever get it twisted. Don't ever play yourself. As always, subscribe, share, tell a friend, tell that friend to tell a friend. Leave some reviews for me. Leave some positive feedback. I'd love to hear from you. Please, in the meantime, check out all the other podcasts from the Play Call Network.
Wow.
And we'll see you for the next edition of the number one podcast.